Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate Santana. I am a wife and a mom of 2-year-old Olivia Joy, and I am 26 weeks pregnant with baby girl Eden Elizabeth. And today I'm going to answer some of the questions that I have gotten from all of you on home birth. If you haven't seen my home birth video, you can go ahead and check it out. I'll link it up here and down below. I would love to hear your positive home birth stories. If you have any, or any other just curious questions that you may have, please refrain from asking questions that are fear-based or you would think would potentially instill fear in me, because I am trying to definitely keep positive birth stories at the forefront of my mind heading into these next 14 weeks of pregnancy, give or take. We don't know exactly when she's gonna come, obviously. If you're new to my channel, I would love if you would stick around and hit the subscribe button. I post a lot of mom content, so pregnancy stuff, I will be posting newborn stuff, and I've also been posting since my daughter was 1 year old, so a lot of Montessori, some homeschooling things will come up down the line as she gets older, things like that. So if that's content that you are interested in, please stick around. So, the first question that I got from you guys is paying for a home birth. So I know that this is something that discourages a lot of moms from choosing home birth, and I can definitely understand why. I have been on the phone with my insurance, meeting with my insurance rep from my job. My midwife has been trying to get in contact with my insurance, and unfortunately it looks like right now we're going to be paying completely out of pocket for home birth. Home birth can range in cost. Our cost is actually on the low end, I think, of home birth. So we're going to be paying $3,000 out of pocket for our midwife, and that includes all of our appointments before birth, after birth, and then also the birth itself. To be honest, although this seems expensive, depending on the insurance that you have, I've heard stories of women paying this much or more for a hospital birth. Hospitals will charge you for every little thing, even if you have insurance. Keep in mind that any intervention that they give you, any sort of medication that they give you, so Pitocin or an epidural, that's all gonna cost money, and they're gonna charge you for staying there as well. So in the end, it's more than we would want to pay, and I'm disappointed that our insurance won't cover it at all. Especially, like, I have a health reimbursement account, but they won't cover it, and there's money on that card that's going to expire, and it's just going to expire. Like, we can't use it, which is really disappointing. But this is the country that we live in, and this is the facts of what we're up against. So for us, it is worth it, but it's definitely something where we're having to budget very intentionally in order to make sure that this is something that works for our family. Okay, the next question was, who is going to be at the birth? Or more specifically, people were asking, can I come? So first, I can have whoever I want at the birth, or whoever my husband and I want. That is the beauty of a home birth. We could have a packed house. We're not going to, but we could. So our midwife will allow anyone to be here, including my daughter, but I'm not planning to have her be here. The only way my daughter would end up being here is if I go into labor when she's already asleep for the night at 7 p.m. and I somehow end up having the baby before she wakes up in the morning, which, to be honest, is a possibility, and it would be pretty cool for her to wake up and be like, hey, here's your baby sister. But other than that, she will be staying with my parents once I go into labor, and she can come meet her baby sister after birth. I haven't completely decided who's going to be here yet, but my general criteria is someone that's going to provide support in the form of prayer, just praying for me throughout the process, but who is going to be able to completely be a fly on the wall. So someone who's not going to be tempted to talk to me, someone that's not going to be tempted to make any noises at all or say anything or talk to my husband, or kind of anyone who feels that they would need to, like, butt in. Not butt in, that's like the wrong way to say it, but anyone that would feel the need to take some sort of action on their own part. I'm very much in the zone when I'm giving birth, and it's really just gonna be like tunnel vision for me. I barely even like feel like I can talk to my husband when I'm giving birth, so there's not gonna be anyone else that I'm gonna wanna talk to. So I haven't decided yet, but it's going to have to be someone who I can guarantee won't say anything or won't interfere in the process at all, or take it upon themselves to interject in the process, if that makes sense. That's just my own view though, because I know a lot of people would have a totally different view. That's just me giving birth. So hopefully that answers that question. Next is Someone asked, is a home birth easier than a hospital birth? So let's talk about easier. What does a laboring mom need? First of all, I want to talk about the difference between a high risk and a low risk mom. A high risk mom will need to be in the hospital because there is a greater chance of a true medical need for intervention. So something like having preeclampsia, having twins or multiples, having a breech birth, something like that, that presents an additional layer of risk. That mom, aside from needing these other things that I'm gonna list, does need more medical attention, so a home birth wouldn't be right for her. If you are a low risk mom though, which means your pregnancy has been normal the entire way through, and there's no reason that you need medical intervention, I think that a home birth is easier for these particular reasons, because what a mother needs is she needs peace, she needs safety, she needs a comfortable place where she feels completely supported and relaxed. Home is the perfect place for that. There's something called the sphincter law, which this might be a little bit TMI, but obviously your cervix is a sphincter in your body, and in order for it to open, you need to be calm, you need to feel safe, and you need to not be riddled with worry or fear. The more calm you are, the more confident you are, the more it's like low lights and a comfortable environment, the faster your body is actually going to open up. There is a huge mind-body connection when it comes to giving birth. Women who stall in labor oftentimes are meant to feel as if their body failed them, when really the doctor could have said something that scared them. The doctor could have said something intimidating to them, or it could have just been intimidating, like on the drive to the hospital. Maybe there was a lot of traffic, or the nurse who checked them in triage was really rude. All of those things can actually stop your body from progressing. And then you get really discouraged, and it's this whole cycle. Forget about the intervention cycle when it comes to medicine and how that ends up being a snowball. If you feel fear at any point, that can snowball and can slow your body down, and then you become discouraged and your mental state is even worse, and then it just creates this like failure to progress, which is a lot of the reason why women end up getting C-sections. So I think it is much easier at home to stay in that safe, peaceful frame of mind that you need for your body to open up and birth your child. It's easier for these small reasons as well. There's no travel. You don't have to be in an uncomfortable car or be worried in the car or bumpy in the car or whatever. There's no checking in at the hospital. There's no going into the emergency room or seeing a bunch of strange people, bright fluorescent lights. There's none of that. There's no paperwork to be signed. I remember when I was getting admitted with Olivia, they were trying to explain all of this paperwork to me. It was like way more paperwork than you would have thought for someone who's like in active labor, and it definitely was annoying. So I won't have to do that when I'm giving birth at home. There will be no pricks or unnecessary interventions of any kind. I just won't be interrupted at all in the flow of just allowing my body to peacefully and efficiently birth my child the way that it is created to do. And there's not a chance of a doctor being rude to me or anything like that, because my midwife is going to be incredibly supportive of me as a birthing mother. That is one of the advantages of a midwife. So for those reasons, I would say that a home birth is easier. Now, some women believe that they can't give birth without an epidural and that they need pain medication because the pain would just be too great. I would actually argue that we are able to work through that pain and work with that pain in order to birth our child, and in fact to not even necessarily view it as pain, but a lot of that takes a lot of work on the mom's part ahead of time to pursue that mindset. So I've actually started doing something called Hypnobabies, and I will leave a link down below if you're interested in learning about it. And it's basically reprogramming my mind about birth to believe that it is going to be safe and comfortable and peaceful, and it's not going to be something that's overwhelming me or an overwhelming amount of pain. I do believe that every mother can reprogram her mind to believe in herself and truly give birth without an epidural. But if that's something that you really feel you can't do, then it's almost like if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Then obviously you would probably think that a hospital birth would be easier. So to each mother their own, but I definitely believe if you start early enough and you get the right messaging and the right birth education, you can do, like you can give birth at home if you're low risk, of course. Whew. Okay, next question is, where am I going to go for ultrasound? So I'm actually done with ultrasounds now. There's no need for me to get any more, although my midwife does have a portable ultrasound machine which she can use just to check the baby's position if for some reason she can't tell baby's position from just feeling my uterus or my stomach. But she can't do like a high tech, she's not going to do like an anatomy scan. If for some reason I needed an anatomy scan, I would go to maternal fetal medicine at the hospital and they would do ultrasounds for me, but I'm done with ultrasounds now, so don't need to worry about that. Next is the question, are all home births water births? And that is such a great question. No, they don't have to be. So I will have a tub that I'm allowed to give birth in at home, and that will be here set up for me. I could give birth in my own tub if I wanted to. I could give birth in the shower. I could actually give birth anywhere in the house. So I haven't decided yet. I know that I want to labor in the tub because it was very efficient for me last time. I dilated from 4 to 5 centimeters to 10 centimeters within about an hour and a half being in the tub. So I know that it was very helpful for me. So I'm planning to at least labor in the tub again for active labor, but I'm just not sure that I'm going to push the baby out in the tub. I am gonna literally keep an open mind until the time comes, and we'll see where I feel most comfortable. And last, that kind of leads into cleanup. What does cleanup look like at home? So we are gonna order a birthing supply kit that is about $100 before the baby is born. It comes with a lot of things to clean up and to also prevent mess. So just like pads, like big disposable pads that I can put on a bed or wherever I'm gonna be, and a bunch of other birthing supplies that are disposable. Our midwife and her assistant will also help with the cleanup, and of course my husband. But if I'm in a tub, it's basically just like draining the water, that's it. But if I give birth somewhere else, we'll definitely have something laid down that can just be picked up and thrown out into the garbage. So cleanup should not be too bad. If when I was speaking you had any other questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments down below, and I will do my best to either answer them in the comments or make a second follow-up video. I hope that this answered some of your questions about home birth and that it was informative and maybe you learned something new. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content, and I will see you guys next time. Have a good week. Bye.